In the year 1849, Harriet Tubman escaped from slavery. She spent the next 10 years going back and forth, south and north, border to border. She went the distance. The distance. The mind state between stolen African and free revolutionary. The miles of hate between Canada and the Confederacy. The risk-taking between holding a gun for protection from slave hunters and protection from doubt. Harriet Tubman was an organizer. And if any African had doubt about her plans to get free from the plantation, with a pistol in her hand, she laid down the ultimatum: get free by your feet or get free by the heat. But we ain't going back. How's that for agitation? Now, I'm not saying as organizers we all need to go out with a clipboard and a gat. But how many of us wear the hat of a movement that undermined an institution, put a decade of conviction into changing a system, seen our daily grind, help shift the contradiction? I'm here because we can. And like Harriet Tubman, the Strategy Center is going the distance. And like her, some days I'd like to put a bullet in the distance. I'd like to put an end to the doubts of folks black and brown who still ain't found a home in the movement. I'd like to put an end to brothers and sisters still trading in historical gems for fool's gold. Tarnished metal, filling your precious mental with CNN, and yes we can, but check the unemployment rates of black men. Double the national average, similar status thrown in the pen. Black folks' homes getting lost while brown folks' homes getting raided, when raises for school police and pink slips for educators is the daily story, but our daily cadence is making history every day. For 20 years, we've been making demands out of misery. Jobs for income now. No seat, no fare. Billions for buses, no more money for warfare. We go the distance. We go from Crenshaw to Eastlow, street soldiers in plain clothes, yellow shirts and green tones, constant hustle on the dome. We want 1,000 more buses from the cops' growing budget so the cops that keep busting on our youth can feel their hunger. And as long as our neighborhoods endure police encroachment, we can't afford to leave our lives in the hands of law enforcement, like Sheriff Corona, Orange County Sheriff Corona. This week he was sentenced to 5 to 6 years in prison for making backhand deals and tampering with witnesses. We can't pretend that law enforcement means upstanding moral citizen. They had an undercover mic, FBI, steady listening. I was livid when I read transcripts of Corona happy making 6 figures, talking about his bribe money as chump change made for niggas. This is way beyond privilege. White supremacy's the villain. While you're at it, let's get Chief Bratton in the slammer and go the distance. Get the US 2 million, free them from the cages, change the whole system to rehabilitation. We go the distance. We go the distance between the world we want to see and the world that we know, because we start in LA, but the world is our home. We sued the MTA for Jim Crow transportation. With bus passes and clipboards, we organized and built towards a first-class bus fleet. Consent decree was our springboard. Billions for buses was our slogan as we seen war being waged on local and world stages. In LA, they built trains in other countries, privatization of food, water, basic needs, and sanitation. So we marched in LA and went to the South African nation, where the World Conference on Racism took place, and we were face to face with black faces that made us feel like we were at home. Black boys and girls, we swore we ran into you at Earl's, and maybe we did. Because we start in LA, but our home is a world. And so we went the distance. We went the distance between swallowing the dirt that they be serving us and leading with demands that made the US walk out of Durban, because reparations is not negotiable, neither is Palestinian liberation, neither slingshots nor gang signs justify occupation. Right of return for Palestinians and all of my New Orleanians still displaced in a nation too busy waging war on other nations. Too busy pointing missiles at Osama bin Laden while Obama's been skipping out in the Second World Racism Conference. Dropping bombs on AFPAC to save the drop of the NASDAQ. Writing stimulus packages to save the banks that keep the cash but don't give out the loans. While working people everywhere are still losing their homes. It's like a joke. But you know what? I still have hope. Because obviously they didn't see us during that fare increase fight. How we packed up MTA and we organized the masses. As far as I'm concerned, we are the stimulus package. We come from the GM fight, tired of being last hired and first fired. For 10 years, we kept the plant open, kept GM Van Nuys feet to the fire. And then we built the watchdog to clean up the clog. Lethal emissions in the fog from Texaco, Shell, and Chevron. And then boom, exploded, gone was a Texaco refinery. So we organized our peeps and hit up AQMD. And so goes LCSC, winning victories. We changed the whole LA fleet to clean air so we can breathe. And now we're ready to do it again, nationally. With transit riders for public transportation, for transit riders who are ready to affect the nation. 20 years in the making, 2 decades of endurance. We've been doing it, and we'll continue to do it as long as it takes. The work, the endurance, the organizing, the transformation. Eric Mann has and is going the distance. Leanne Hurstman has and is going the distance. Barbara Lott Holland has and is going the distance. Woodrow Coleman has and is going the distance. Rosilio Mendiola has and is going the distance. So many of us have and are going the distance. Rest in peace to all the soldiers who helped us go the distance. So who else is ready? Because our victory is, has, and always will be in the distance. Thank you.